Hey everyone, today we're diving into Nietzsche's wild take from Twilight of the Idols, where Nietzsche makes a pretty bold claim that arguments are just tools for the weak. So why would a philosopher say something like that? Let's break it down. As Nietzsche wasn't really into dialectics or reason, mainly because of his beef with Socrates. Sure, Socrates shaped the world of philosophy, but Nietzsche thought he also played a part in the decline of Greek culture and Western civilization. He famously argued that Socrates turned reason into a tyrant, making us justify everything logically and tossing aside anything that can't be explained rationally. Now picture this classic Socratic dialogue. Socrates is pestering some unsuspecting Athenian noble, probably a politician or a general, with his endless questions. Frustrating, right? Nobody enjoys having their beliefs poked at, especially when those beliefs have served them well over time. While Socrates often digs up shaky ground under these convictions, like notions of justice or beauty, imagine if the noble just shrugged him off. That's the scenario Nietzsche actually supports, where Socrates isn't seen as a hero, but more as part of the problem. Socrates, often labeled the gadfly of Athens, thought it was his job to shake up Athenian society. Traditionally, we see his role as a turning point in Western thought, but Nietzsche views it as a symptom of cultural decay. He argues that a strong culture doesn't need to justify itself, it boldly asserts its values. In Nietzsche's view, philosophy pops up during cultural decline, kind of like a crow swooping down on something rotten. In our post-Socratic world, there's this pressure to rationalize our beliefs and actions. Acting purely on desire, what Nietzsche calls egoism, is often brushed aside as not good enough. He believes Socrates stoked this need for justification, much like a vulture circling over Athens' crumbling values. To illustrate his point, let's look at Thucydides' account of the Peloponnesian War and the Melian dialogue. Here, Athenian emissaries confront the neutral island of Melos, demanding they surrender or face destruction. The Athenian stance is pretty straightforward and unapologetic. The strong do what they can, and the weak suffer what they must. They're not sugarcoating anything. They invade simply because they can. This reflects the pre-Socratic Greek mindset, assertive, confident, and brutally honest. Nietzsche's perspective pushes us to rethink how we approach arguments and justifications. Are we debating from a place of strength or weakness? What do you think? Let's dive into this discussion in the comments. Nietzsche's critique of Socrates and dialectics opens up a fascinating conversation about strength, power, and what it really means to argue. He believes that true strength doesn't need justification, kind of like those Athenian emissaries in the Melian dialogue, who bluntly said, "The strong do what they can and the weak suffer what they must." This no-nonsense view really captures the essence of pre-Socratic Greece, taking action without all the lengthy excuses or explanations. When the Athenians went to Melos, they weren't there to chat about moral principles or justify their power. They acted simply because they could. Nietzsche argues that this kind of confidence faded with Socrates, who introduced the constant need to rationalize everything through reason. What was once a vibrant and life-affirming Greek culture started trading its strength for abstract principles that demanded reasons for every action and belief. You can see this shift in playwrights like Euripides. Influenced by Socratic ideas, he filled his tragedies with way too many explanations and justifications. Sure, his insights were interesting, but Nietzsche saw this as a step away from instinctive action. He felt that this obsession with clarity is a sign of cultural decline, showing how Socratic questioning can actually undermine the very instincts that drive us to act. In contrast, Nietzsche is all about returning to instinct and taking action without needing to justify ourselves. He sees the Socratic method as a bit of a plague on true strength, an endless loop of questioning that distracts us from the raw vitality of life. So, what do you think? Is this constant search for justification making us weaker in our actions, or is it just part of being human? Let's kick off a debate in the comments. Imagine a lion hunting a gazelle. This mighty creature doesn't pause to ponder ethics or right and wrong, it just acts on instinct. But what if a lion actually took a moment to question its actions? That would be pretty funny, or even a little unsettling, right? Nietzsche invites us to think about what this instinctual drive means. He argues that doubt indicates insecurity, a lack of confidence in our instincts. Take the Athenians, for instance. Did they really think through their decision to attack Melos? Were they concerned about morality, or did they operate outside the usual notions of good and evil? Nietzsche points to a pre-moral stage in early humanity, where values were shaped by strength and dominance instead of altruism. This master morality, marked by self-confidence and the freedom to create one's own values, stands in stark contrast to what Nietzsche calls slave morality. Slave morality is a reaction from those without power, who seek validation by criticizing the strong. This philosophical shift started with Socrates. Even though he was of lower social status, he used dialectics to challenge the elite, introducing a new dynamic in moral philosophy. His relentless questioning led to a cultural decline, shifting power away from the self and toward abstract principles. In Socratic dialogues, we often sympathize with the Melians, the underdogs up against the powerful Athenians. Nietzsche suggests that our need for external validation and arguments shows signs of decay, kind of like kids who keep asking why. Socrates' quest for justification beyond personal strength eventually led to his martyrdom, cementing the philosophical method he created. Philosophers after Socrates, like Plato and Kant, kept this trend going, looking for goodness outside human experience and drifting away from self-created values. Nietzsche calls for a return to those original Greek ideals of strength and confidence. But let's be real, this path isn't easy, especially given how deeply Socratic thinking has influenced even ancient Greek thought. Nietzsche's bold claim that God is dead highlights how our constant questioning has left a cultural void where old values no longer hold weight. In this void, it's up to the Übermensch, the free spirits of the future, to create new values. This philosophy encourages us to build a new morality based on inner strength without needing outside validation. It's a powerful approach that doesn't seek approval and transcends traditional ideas of good and evil. So, how do we reclaim this strength? How can we become the authors of our own values? Let's get this debate going in the comments. What do you think about Nietzsche's challenge to create a morality rooted in power? If you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to subscribe and like. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.